The arrival of the arrogant aliens. It was an ordinary day on Earth, or at least it seemed so until the sky began to change. A massive glowing object appeared high above the city of New York, blocking the sun and casting an eerie shadow over the streets below. Crowds gathered, staring in disbelief as the object descended slowly. It was unlike anything humans had ever seen. A spaceship, massive and gleaming, with intricate patterns glowing along its metallic surface. The world watched in silence as the alien ship settled above the city, hovering without a single sound. News channels around the globe interrupted their broadcasts, switching to live feeds of the event. People sat glued to their screens, their hearts racing. For decades, humanity had speculated about the existence of alien life, but no one had expected an arrival like this. Moments later, a booming voice echoed across the planet. The voice was deep and cold, speaking a language no human had ever heard. Within seconds, it shifted into perfect English. "Humans of Earth," the voice announced, dripping with disdain. "We are the Zerun Empire. You are a primitive species, but today you are blessed with our presence." The words struck like a blow. Primitive. The arrogance of the statement left people speechless. The Zerun speaker continued, his tone mocking. "Your technology is laughable. Your understanding of the universe is a mere drop in an endless ocean. And yet, we have chosen to visit you. Be grateful." As the Zerun commander's speech echoed around the world, people began to notice figures emerging from the ship. Tall, slender beings with glowing eyes and smooth, silver skin stepped onto a platform that extended from the ship. Their uniforms shimmered, reflecting the sunlight in dazzling patterns. Cameras zoomed in on their faces, capturing their cold, expressionless features. One of the aliens, presumably the leader, raised a hand. "Do not resist," he said. "You are no match for us. Surrender your planet, and we may allow you to serve under our rule. Refuse, and you will face annihilation." The silence that followed was deafening. On the streets, people whispered nervously. In government war rooms, leaders scrambled to decide their next move. Some called for immediate retaliation, while others urged caution. But deep in a secluded lab, far from the chaos, one man listened to the broadcast with a calm smile. Dr. Ethan Gray, a name known only to a select few, was a genius unlike any other. For years, he had worked in secret, building something that no one outside his circle knew existed. As the Zeruns continued their condescending speech, Ethan leaned back in his chair, his eyes glinting with a mix of amusement and determination. "They think they're untouchable," he murmured, almost to himself. "They think they know everything. But they don't know us. Not really." Ethan stood and walked to a large screen on the wall, tapping a few buttons. The image of the Zerun ship appeared, surrounded by analysis data and energy readings. "Arrogant fools," he said. "They have no idea what's waiting for them." Meanwhile, the Zerun leader continued his speech, oblivious to the storm brewing behind closed doors. "Your species is insignificant," he declared. "Your history is filled with war, chaos, and destruction. You are unworthy of the stars." The camera feed shifted to a young woman in the crowd below, holding her child tightly. Tears streamed down her face, but there was a spark of defiance in her eyes. She wasn't alone. Around the world, millions of people watched the broadcast with growing anger. The Zerun's words, meant to intimidate, only ignited a fire in the hearts of humanity. Back in his lab, Ethan activated a secure communication line. A holographic screen lit up, revealing the faces of several individuals, scientists, engineers, and military leaders. "It's time," Ethan said simply. "Activate Protocol Nova." The others exchanged nervous glances, but nodded. One of them, a woman with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor, asked, "Are we ready for this?" "We've been preparing for years," Ethan replied. "If we don't act now, everything we've built will be for nothing. Trust me, they have no idea what they're up against." As the call ended, Ethan turned back to the screen. The Zerun leader was still speaking, But Ethan barely paid attention. His mind was already racing ahead, calculating the next move. He knew that humanity's survival depended on what they did next. The Zerans might have been more advanced, but they had made one critical mistake. They underestimated humanity. They saw Earth as weak, divided, and easy to conquer. But Ethan knew the truth. Humanity had faced countless challenges, and each time, it had risen stronger. "They came here to mock us," Ethan said softly, his voice filled with resolve. "But they'll leave knowing what it means to be human." As the Zeran ship loomed over the city, casting its shadow over millions, something extraordinary was set into motion, something that would change the course of history forever. The countdown had begun, and the world was about to see the true strength of humanity. Humanity's hidden legacy. Far beyond the orbit of Pluto, a place few on Earth even knew existed, a massive structure floated silently in the cold darkness of space. This was Nova Terra, humanity's greatest secret. For decades, it had been built in absolute secrecy by the best minds from every corner of the world, a hidden city in the stars, designed not just to ensure survival, but to redefine humanity's future. Nova Terra wasn't just a city, it was a fortress, spanning miles. Its outer shell gleamed with an advanced alloy that absorbed and redirected energy. Inside, it housed cutting-edge laboratories, state-of-the-art weapon systems, and even lush green biospheres. Over 200,000 of humanity's brightest and bravest lived there, working tirelessly to ensure Earth's survival against any cosmic threat. Dr. Ethan Gray stood on the observation deck of Nova Terra, gazing out at the distant stars. The room was dimly lit, the soft hum of machinery filling the air. He wasn't alone. A young engineer named Riley stood beside him, her eyes wide with nervous anticipation. "Do you think they'll find us?" she asked, breaking the silence. Ethan smiled faintly, his gaze unwavering. "They don't even know we exist. They're so blinded by their arrogance, they can't imagine a species like ours could create something like this." Riley nodded, but her unease didn't fade. "What if they do? What if?" Ethan cut her off with a raised hand. "We've prepared for this moment. Every bolt, every circuit, every line of code in this place was designed for one purpose: to protect humanity. If the Zerans want to fight, they'll get one. But it will be on our terms. A legacy built in secrecy." Flashbacks revealed how Nova Terra came to be. 30 years earlier, humanity had received a strange signal from deep space. It wasn't a greeting. It was a warning. A rogue alien, defecting from the Zeran Empire, had sent a message to Earth: "Prepare. They are coming." At first, world leaders dismissed it as a hoax. But a few visionaries, including Ethan, saw it as a call to action. They knew Earth wasn't ready to face an advanced alien race. So, under the guise of international research programs, they began the greatest secret project in human history. Every nation contributed in secret. Materials from Africa, energy systems from Europe, engineers from Asia, and funding from the United States. Thousands of people worked in hidden facilities, their efforts coordinated by an unseen hand. Over the years, Nova Terra took shape in the outer reaches of the solar system, hidden by advanced cloaking technology that rendered it invisible to prying eyes. The Zeran threat grows. Back on Earth, the Zerans continued their blockade, positioning their ships around the planet like predators circling prey. Their leader, Supreme Commander Arrogance, paced inside the mothership's command center. He was tall and imposing, with an aura of cold calculation. "These humans are slow to respond," Arrogance said, his voice laced with contempt. "Typical of primitive species. They think hiding behind their governments and armies will save them." One of his advisors, a smaller Zeran with a nervous demeanor, hesitated before speaking. "Commander, there is an anomaly. Our scanners detect fluctuations in the outer solar system. It could be." Arrogance raised a hand to silence him. "Irrelevant. These fluctuations are nothing more than cosmic noise. Focus on subduing the planet." The advisor nodded, though doubt lingered in his glowing eyes. The first steps of defiance. Back on Novaterra, Ethan convened a council of key leaders. The room was circular, with holographic projections displaying Earth, the Zirun ships, and Novaterra's strategic position. "We can't wait for them to make the first move," Ethan said, his voice steady but firm. "The longer we let them control the narrative, the weaker we'll appear. It's time to show them what we're capable of." General Harper, a retired military officer and now head of Novaterra's defense division, leaned forward. "Are you suggesting an attack?" "Against them, Ethan, their fleet is massive. Even with our technology, it's a risk." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "A calculated risk. They think we're powerless. That's our advantage. If we can strike a decisive blow, we'll shatter their confidence and buy ourselves time to prepare for the larger fight." The room buzzed with murmurs of agreement and concern. Riley, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke up. "What's the plan?" Ethan turned to her, a faint smile on his face. "We'll deploy a stealth team to infiltrate their mothership. If we can gather intelligence on their weaknesses, we'll know exactly how to hit them where it hurts." Activating the quantum veil. As the council dispersed, Ethan led Riley and a small team to Novaterra's control center. In the heart of the station, a massive machine hummed with power, the quantum veil, a cloaking device that not only hid Novaterra, but could make small ships completely invisible to detection. Ethan placed a hand on the machine's console. "This is our edge," he said. "The Zerans can't fight what they can't see." Within hours, a small, sleek spacecraft was prepped for launch. It was equipped with the quantum veil and piloted by a team of the station's best operatives. As the ship powered up, Riley turned to Ethan. "Do you think they'll come back?" Ethan's expression was unreadable. "They have to. Humanity's future depends on it." The story ended on a high note, with the stealth ship disappearing into the void, headed straight for the heart of the Zirun fleet. Humanity's hidden legacy was about to be unleashed, and the universe would never be the same. The challenge. The dark expanse of space seemed endless, yet the silence was deceptive. Humanity's stealth ship, Eclipse One, moved like a shadow through the void, its quantum veil rendering it undetectable. Inside, the small team of operatives prepared for the most dangerous mission ever attempted. Their target, the heart of the Zirun mothership. Captain Marcus Kane, a battle-hardened veteran, adjusted his headset as he reviewed the mission briefing. Beside him, Lieutenant Sophia Reyes checked the controls with precision. The tension inside the cockpit was palpable, but Marcus broke the silence with a steady voice. "Remember the plan. Infiltrate, gather intel, and get out. We're ghosts. They won't even know we were there." Sophia gave a sharp nod, her jaw clenched. "And if they find us?" Marcus didn't hesitate. "They won't." Inside the mothership. The Zirun mothership was a marvel of alien engineering. Its massive hull was adorned with glowing patterns that pulsed like a living organism. Within its labyrinthine corridors, Zirun soldiers moved with mechanical precision, their glowing eyes scanning their surroundings. As Eclipse One approached, the quantum veil did its job flawlessly. The ship slipped through the mothership's defenses, undetected. Marcus and Sophia, along with two other operatives, donned advanced suits designed to mimic their surroundings, enhancing their stealth capabilities. The team disembarked into a cavernous hangar filled with alien craft. The air hummed with energy, and the faint scent of burning ozone lingered. Marcus led the way, his voice low over the comms. "Stay sharp. Stick to the shadows. We're looking for their command core." Sophia glanced at a glowing panel on the wall, scanning it with a portable translator. "This way," she whispered, pointing toward a narrow corridor. The team moved quickly but carefully, their every step calculated. The corridors were lined with alien technology, pulsating conduits, hovering surveillance drones, and holographic displays showing the Zirun fleet's position around Earth. One operative, a tech specialist named Leon, paused to hack into a data terminal. His fingers danced over the controls as he muttered, "Just a few seconds. I'm in." The holographic display shifted, revealing critical data, ship schematics, fleet movements, and, most importantly, a glaring weakness in the mothership's defenses. "This is it," Leon said, uploading the data to their portable drive. "We need to get this back to Novaterra." The challenge issued. As the team prepared to leave, a sudden noise froze them in their tracks. The faint hum of approaching footsteps grew louder, accompanied by the metallic clink of Zirun armor. "Hide," Marcus hissed. The team ducked into the shadows, their suits blending seamlessly with the walls. Moments later, a group of Zirun soldiers entered the corridor, their glowing eyes scanning the area. They stopped near the hacked terminal, their leader examining it closely. The system was breached, the leader said in a cold, mechanical voice. "The humans are more resourceful than expected." Marcus held his breath, his hand hovering over the trigger of his plasma pistol. But the Ziruns didn't raise an alarm. Instead, their leader issued an unexpected command. "Let them continue. We will test their resilience. Inform Commander Arrogance. We will see if these creatures are worthy of the stars." The soldiers departed, leaving the team in stunned silence. Sophia whispered, "They know we're here. They're toying with us." Marcus's expression hardened. "Then we'll make sure they regret it." Back at Novaterra, while the team infiltrated the mothership, Dr. Ethan Gray monitored their progress from Novaterra's control center. The holographic display showed the real-time position of Eclipse 1, its glowing icon moving deep within enemy territory. General Harper stood beside Ethan, arms crossed. "They're cutting it close," he muttered. "They'll make it," Ethan replied confidently. "They have to. If we can exploit that weakness in the mothership, we can take down their entire fleet." A junior officer interrupted, her voice urgent. "Sir, incoming transmission from the Zirun mothership. They're broadcasting to the entire planet." The room fell silent as the Zirun leader, Commander Arrogance, appeared on the main screen. His cold, angular face filled the display, his glowing eyes exuding confidence. "Humans," Arrogance began, his tone mocking. "We have given you time to surrender, yet you cling to futile hope. Perhaps you believe you are clever, hiding your true strength. But know this, the Zirun Empire sees all, and we are unimpressed." Arrax's gaze seemed to pierce through the screen. "To prove your worth, we offer a challenge. Send your greatest champions. Face us in combat. If you win, we will spare your planet. If you lose," he paused, his lips curling into a cruel smile, "your world will burn." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the control room in stunned silence. A calculated response. Ethan turned to the council, his expression calm but determined. "This isn't just a challenge. It's a distraction. They know about Novaterra. They're trying to draw us out." General Harper frowned. "So what do we do? Ignore it?" "No," Ethan replied. "We accept. But we do it on our terms. While they focus on this so-called challenge, we'll exploit the weakness the team found. The mothership will fall, and the rest of their fleet will follow." The escape. Back on the mothership, Marcus and his team moved quickly toward their extraction point, but the Ziruns were no longer subtle. Alarms blared, and soldiers swarmed the corridors. "This was a trap all along," Sophia said, firing a pulse round at a pursuing drone. "Doesn't matter," Marcus replied. "We have the data. That's all that matters." The team reached the hangar, narrowly dodging enemy fire. As they boarded Eclipse 1, Marcus turned to look at the mothership one last time. "Let them think they've won. We're just getting started." The ship's engines roared to life, and with the quantum veil engaged, it vanished into the void. Humanity's defiance was only beginning. Cracks in the Empire. Eclipse 1 raced through the cold expanse of space, cloaked by the quantum veil. Inside, Marcus Kane and his team reviewed the data they had stolen from the Zirun mothership. The holographic display projected a map of the ship's intricate systems, highlighting its glaring vulnerability, a critical energy relay that, if disrupted, would cause a catastrophic chain reaction. "This isn't just a weakness," Leon, the tech specialist, said, his voice tinged with awe. "It's a design flaw. If we hit this relay, their entire ship could go offline." Marcus leaned forward, studying the projection. Why would they leave themselves exposed like this? Sophia, the pilot, frowned. Maybe they didn't think anyone would ever get close enough to find it. Arrogance breeds carelessness. As the team debated, the ship's comms crackled to life. Dr. Ethan Gray's voice came through, calm but urgent. "Eclipse 1. Report." Marcus activated the comms. "We've got what we need. Sending the data now." The seeds of doubt. Back on the Zerun mothership, Supreme Commander Arrogance sat in his private chamber, reviewing the latest reports. The humans had managed to breach their systems, and the stolen data was significant. His advisors had been quick to reassure him, but something gnawed at the edges of his mind. The humans weren't acting like the primitives he had expected. They were bold, resourceful, and surprisingly coordinated. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. It was his second-in-command, Vareth. The smaller Zerun entered, his expression hesitant. "Commander, there's something you need to see." Vareth activated a holographic display, showing intercepted transmissions between human factions. While the Zeruns had assumed humanity was divided, the messages painted a different picture: the hidden alliance, whispers of Novaterra, and plans to resist the Empire. Arax's glowing eyes narrowed. So they've been hiding in plain sight. Clever. Vareth hesitated. "Commander, I must speak freely. This operation, it feels premature. We assumed they would crumble, but they're adapting. Perhaps we should reconsider our approach." Arax's expression darkened. "Reconsider? Are you suggesting we retreat?" "No," Vareth replied quickly. "But we must respect their resolve. Underestimating them further could be disastrous." Arrax leaned back, his gaze cold. "Let them resist. It will make their eventual defeat all the sweeter. Prepare the fleet for an assault on their hidden stronghold. We will crush them before they become a true threat." Dissent among the Zerun. Unbeknownst to Arrax, not all within his ranks shared his confidence. In a secluded chamber of the mothership, a group of Zerun officers whispered among themselves. One of them, a younger officer named Kale, voiced his concerns. "We've seen this before," Kale said. "The Empire's arrogance blinds us. Remember the Rylorian rebellion. They were a primitive species too, and we lost half a fleet because we underestimated them." Another officer, older and more cautious, nodded. "The humans are unpredictable. They don't follow the same patterns as other species we've conquered. We should be more cautious." Kale hesitated before speaking again. "What if we're wrong about them? What if they're capable of more than we think?" The others exchanged uneasy glances. For the first time, cracks were forming in the Zerun Empire's unity. Humanity strikes back. On Novaterra, Ethan Gray and his team analyzed the data from Eclipse 1. The command center buzzed with activity as engineers and strategists worked to finalize their plan. "Their arrogance is their downfall," Ethan said, addressing the council. "They've left themselves vulnerable, and we're going to exploit that. But we need to act fast. The longer we wait, the more time they have to adapt." General Harper spoke up. "What's the plan, Ethan?" "A direct strike." Ethan nodded. "We'll send a strike team to disable the energy relay. Once the mothership is down, we'll launch a full-scale counterattack. It's risky, but it's our best shot." Riley, the young engineer, raised a hand. "What about their fleet? Even if we take down the mothership, they'll still outnumber us." Ethan smiled faintly. "That's where Novaterra's defenses come in. We've been preparing for this for years. Trust me, our technology is more than capable of evening the odds." The growing divide. As the Zeruns prepared their assault on Earth, Kale secretly accessed the human data that had been intercepted. What he saw shocked him. The humans weren't just fighting to survive, they were fighting for their future. Their messages were filled with hope, unity, and an unshakable determination to protect their home. Cal's doubts deepened. He sought out Verith, his superior, and shared his thoughts. "The humans are not what we've been told," Cal said. "They're resilient, and they're not just fighting for themselves. They're fighting for something bigger." Verith regarded him carefully. "What are you suggesting?" Cal hesitated. "Perhaps we're on the wrong side of this war." The next step. Back on Novaterra, Ethan stood on the observation deck, watching as the strike team prepared for their mission. Eclipse One was being retrofitted with additional stealth tech and advanced weaponry. Marcus Kane, leading the team once again, approached Ethan. "We're ready," he said. Ethan nodded. "This is bigger than any of us. Marcus, the Zerans think they've already won, but they have no idea what we're capable of." As the strike team boarded the ship, Ethan's voice echoed in the control room. "This isn't just about survival. It's about proving to the galaxy that humanity will not be conquered. Let's show them what it means to fight for freedom." The countdown began, and Eclipse One launched into the darkness, heading straight for the Zeran mothership. But unknown to humanity, within the Zeran ranks, the seeds of rebellion had already been sown. The first strike. Eclipse One emerged from the shadows of space, its cloaking system masking every trace of its presence. Within, Marcus Kane and his team braced for their mission. A surgical strike at the heart of the Zeran mothership. Every movement they made was precise, every decision calculated. The weight of humanity's survival pressed on their shoulders. Sophia Reyes piloted the stealth craft with steady hands, her eyes scanning the holographic displays for any anomalies. "We're approaching the target zone," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Stay sharp," Marcus replied. "The Zerans might be overconfident, but we can't afford mistakes. We get in, hit the relay, and get out. No heroics." The ship glided silently into a docking bay, undetected. The team disembarked, their suits blending seamlessly with the dim, pulsating glow of the Zeran corridors. Ahead lay the energy relay, a critical system that powered the entire mothership and its fleet's coordination. The relentless advance. As they moved through the alien vessel, the team encountered increasingly strange sights. The Zeran ship wasn't merely mechanical, it seemed alive. Organic conduits pulsed like veins, and faint whispers echoed through the corridors, as if the ship itself was aware of their presence. Leon, the tech specialist, paused to analyze the surroundings. "This isn't just a ship," he murmured. "It's a hybrid. Part machine, part organism." "Focus," Marcus ordered. "Whatever it is, we're here to take it down." They reached the energy relay, a massive glowing core suspended in the center of a cavernous chamber. Alien glyphs flickered across its surface, and the hum of energy filled the air. Leon set to work, his fingers flying across his tools. "I'm setting the overload. This thing is about to have a very bad day." The Zeran response. Just as Leon completed the task, alarms blared throughout the ship. The team tensed as the chamber flooded with Zeran soldiers, their glowing eyes scanning the area. "We're exposed," Sophia hissed, raising her plasma rifle. Marcus assessed the situation quickly. "Leon, finish the job. The rest of you, defensive positions." A fierce battle erupted. The Zerans moved with inhuman precision, their weapons unleashing bursts of energy that seared the air. But the humans fought back with determination, their advanced suits and weapons giving them a fighting chance. Leon worked frantically, his heart pounding. "Just a few more seconds. Make it quick," Marcus shouted, taking down 2 Zerans with a well-placed shot. Finally, Leon shouted, "Done. The relay's set to overload. We've got 2 minutes to clear out." The team fought their way back to Eclipse One, the ship's engines roaring to life as they escaped the collapsing chamber. Behind them, the energy relay began to destabilize, its glowing core flickering wildly. The mothership cripples. From the bridge of the Zirun mothership, Supreme Commander Arrogance watched as the alarms intensified. A holographic display showed the energy relay failing, its critical systems cascading into chaos. "What is happening?" Arrogance demanded. Verith, his second-in-command, responded, his voice strained. "The humans have sabotaged the relay. The ship is losing power." Arrax's eyes glowed with fury. "Impossible. How did they?" Before he could finish, the mothership shuddered violently. Lights flickered and control systems failed. Across the fleet, Zirun ships scrambled to maintain formation as their command network crumbled. The turning point. Back on Novaterra, Dr. Ethan Gray and the Council watched the chaos unfold through live feeds from Eclipse One. The image of the Zirun mothership faltering brought a wave of hope. "They did it," General Harper said, a rare smile crossing his face. Ethan nodded, his expression resolute. "This is the moment we've been waiting for. Launch the fleet." Novaterra's hangars came alive as hundreds of human ships, sleek, agile, and armed with cutting-edge technology, burst into the void. They moved in coordinated formations, targeting the disoriented Zirun fleet. The first human strike was surgical and devastating. Cloaked fighters took out key targets, while larger ships unleashed advanced weapons that overwhelmed the Ziruns. The once mighty empire now found itself on the defensive. The rise of human defiance. As Eclipse One returned to Novaterra, Marcus and his team were greeted as heroes. But the victory was bittersweet. They had struck a blow, but the war was far from over. "We bought ourselves time," Marcus said, addressing the council. "But they'll regroup. We need to hit them again, harder." Ethan nodded. "And we will. Today, we showed them that humanity won't be conquered. But tomorrow, we show them what it means to fight for freedom." A dangerous revelation. Back aboard the crippled Zirun mothership, Kale, the young officer who had begun to question the Empire, watched the aftermath with a mix of awe and dread. The humans' resilience was undeniable, their ingenuity unmatched. In the chaos, Kale accessed restricted files, seeking answers. What he found stunned him. Reports of other species that had resisted the Ziruns and paid the price. But humanity was different. They weren't just surviving. They were winning. Kale made a decision. He activated a secure communication channel and sent a single encrypted message to Novaterra. Its contents were simple. "You don't know me, but I can help you. Meet me at these coordinates." The Zirun Empire was fracturing from within, and humanity's first strike had set the stage for a rebellion that would shake the galaxy. Humanity's defiance. Novaterra glimmered like a jewel in the dark expanse of space, its strategic might fully unleashed. On the observation deck, Dr. Ethan Gray stood amidst the bustle of activity. Screens flickered with live feeds of the Zirun fleet in disarray, reports of their collapsing command systems scrolling alongside. But Ethan's focus was on a single message, an encrypted signal received from the Zirun ranks. Riley, the young engineer, stood beside him, her eyes scanning the decoded text. A Zirun officer offering to help. "This has to be a trap." Ethan's gaze remained fixed on the message. Maybe. Or maybe it's the crack we've been waiting for. If their empire is fracturing, we need to exploit it. He turned to General Harper. "Prep a stealth ship. We're going to that rendezvous point. If this Kale is genuine, he might hold the key to taking them down for good." The meeting in the void. Eclipse 2, a smaller and faster variant of its predecessor, slipped through the darkness, its cloaking system active. Marcus Kane once again led the team, with Sophia piloting. Tension filled the cabin as they neared the coordinates provided by Kale. "Do we trust him?" Marcus asked, breaking the silence. Ethan, seated beside him, replied calmly, "Trust isn't the issue. Information is. If he can give us insight into their weaknesses, it's worth the risk." As they approached the location, a Zirun shuttle emerged from the void, its lights flickering erratically. Kale, standing alone inside, raised his hands in a universal gesture of surrender. Marcus's voice crackled over the comms. "Identify yourself." Cal's voice came through, steady but tense. "I am Sub-Officer Cal of the Xeron Empire. I come with information that can help you end this war." Ethan studied Cal's face through the feed, noting the conflicted expression. "Let him aboard." The defector's revelation. Inside the cabin of Eclipse 2, Cal sat surrounded by armed guards. Despite the tension, he remained composed. "You humans are remarkable," he began, his glowing eyes scanning his captors. "You've achieved more than we ever expected. That's why I'm here. The Empire doesn't understand your kind, but I do. And I know how you can win." Cal explained that the Xeron Empire was not as invincible as it appeared. It thrived on fear and control, but cracks had been forming for centuries. Many within the Empire, especially in the lower ranks, had grown disillusioned with its endless conquests and arrogance. "The mothership you disabled was a cornerstone," Cal continued. "Its loss has sent shockwaves through the fleet. But if you want to deal a decisive blow, you need to target the Nexus Core." Ethan frowned. "What's the Nexus Core?" "It's the heart of the Empire," Cal explained. "A massive artificial intelligence that coordinates every fleet, every decision. Destroy it, and the Empire collapses." A bold plan. Back on Novaterra, the Council convened to discuss the next move. Cal's information, though risky, was too valuable to ignore. Ethan presented the plan with quiet confidence. "The Nexus Core is located in the Xeron capital system, surrounded by their strongest fleets," he began. "A direct assault is suicide. But if we can infiltrate it the same way we did the mothership, we have a chance." General Harper leaned forward. "And what if this Cal is lying? Leading us into a trap?" Ethan glanced at Cal, who stood silently at the edge of the room. "He's risking his life just being here. If he wanted to betray us, he'd have done it already." Cal stepped forward, his voice firm. "I have no love for the Empire. If you want to win, you have to trust me." After a tense silence, Harper nodded. "Then we hit them where it hurts. The final assault begins." Novaterra launched its largest fleet yet, a combination of stealth ships and advanced combat vessels. Cal accompanied Ethan and Marcus aboard Eclipse 2, guiding them toward the Nexus Core. As they entered Xeron space, the scale of the enemy's defenses became clear. Thousands of ships formed an impenetrable blockade around the capital system. Cal, however, revealed a hidden route, a series of unmapped wormholes that bypassed the main defenses. Sophia piloted the ship through the treacherous paths, narrowly avoiding detection. The crew's nerves were stretched thin, but they pressed on, driven by the weight of their mission. Inside the Nexus Core. The Nexus Core was a marvel of Xeron technology, a colossal structure orbiting a dying star. Its surface shimmered with energy, and its interior pulsed with the glow of countless data streams. Eclipse 2 docked covertly, and the team disembarked, led by Marcus and Cal. "The core is protected by layers of security," Cal warned. "If we're discovered, we'll have minutes, maybe seconds, before they respond." As they advanced, the team encountered increasingly complex challenges: automated defenses, energy barriers, and labyrinthine corridors. Leon, brought along for his technical expertise, worked frantically to disable each obstacle. Finally, they'd reached the heart of the Nexus Core, a massive crystalline structure suspended in a magnetic field. Data streams flowed through it like rivers of light. "This is it," Cal said. "Destroy this, and the Empire falls." Leon began planting charges on the core, his hands trembling with urgency. But as he worked, alarms blared. "They know we're here," Marcus said, raising his weapon. "Hold them off." Humanity's defiance unleashed. Xeron forces swarmed the core, but the human team fought with unmatched determination. Cal, wielding a weapon taken from his former comrades, fought alongside them, proving his loyalty. Amid the chaos, Leon shouted, "Charges set. We have 60 seconds to get out." The team retreated, fighting their way back to Eclipse 2. As they launched away from the Nexus core, the charges detonated, sending a shockwave through the structure. The core shattered, its destruction rippling through the Zirun fleet. Ships powered down, their systems crippled without the core's coordination. Across the galaxy, colonies and fleets once under Zirun control began to rebel, seizing their chance for freedom. The turning tide. Back on Novaterra, the command center erupted in cheers as the Zirun Empire's collapse became clear. Ethan, however, remained composed, his eyes fixed on the screens. "This isn't the end," he said. "The Empire is crippled, but there will be chaos. We need to be ready to lead, to ensure the galaxy doesn't fall into anarchy." Kale, standing beside him, nodded. "You've done what no one else could. You've shown the galaxy that even the mightiest can fall. Now it's up to you to shape what comes next." As the dust settled, humanity stood as a beacon of hope in a fractured galaxy. The Zirun Empire's reign was over, but the real challenge was just beginning. The shocking revelation. The galaxy was in turmoil. The destruction of the Nexus core had shattered the Zirun Empire's grip, leaving their fleets leaderless and their colonies in rebellion. But as chaos spread, humanity's triumph turned into a delicate balancing act. Dr. Ethan Gray stood in Novaterra's command center, watching the galaxy-wide reports flood in. "They're falling apart faster than I thought," General Harper remarked, arms crossed. "But this is dangerous. Power vacuums like this don't stay empty for long." Ethan nodded, his gaze thoughtful. "Which is why we need to act fast. We didn't just break their empire. We disrupted an entire galactic system. If we don't manage this, we could end up with something worse than the Ziruns." The room fell silent. The weight of their actions hung heavily in the air. A call for unity. Back on Earth, the sight of the Zirun fleet retreating from orbit had sparked global celebrations. People filled the streets, cheering and waving flags, united for the first time in generations. The broadcasts from Novaterra gave the world hope, a future where humanity wasn't just surviving but thriving among the stars. Ethan addressed the Earth Council via a secure transmission, his voice steady but urgent. "This isn't just a victory for Earth. It's a signal to the galaxy that oppression can be defeated. But if we don't step up now, we risk losing everything we've gained." The council leader, a stern woman named Lila Song, leaned forward. "What are you suggesting?" "An alliance," Ethan replied. "Not just for humanity, but for every species oppressed by the Ziruns. We need to offer them a new path, one built on cooperation, not conquest." Kel's secret. Meanwhile, on Novaterra, Kale, the Zirun defector, paced nervously in his quarters. Since helping humanity destroy the Nexus core, he had been hailed as a hero by some and viewed with suspicion by others. But something gnawed at him, a secret he hadn't yet shared. Riley found him staring out at the stars, his expression troubled. "What's wrong?" she asked. Kale hesitated before speaking. The Nexus core wasn't just a command system. It was connected to something deeper, something the Empire has been hiding for centuries. Riley frowned. "What are you talking about?" Kale turned to face her, his glowing eyes filled with dread. The Nexus core was part of a failsafe. If it was ever destroyed, it would trigger something. A contingency plan. "I don't know the details, but I know it's dangerous." Riley's blood ran cold. "Why didn't you tell us sooner?" "I didn't know until now," Kale admitted. "The destruction of the core activated buried protocols in my neural implants. I'm remembering things I was never supposed to know." The forgotten threat. Ethan was in the middle of a strategy meeting when Riley burst in, dragging Kale behind her. "We have a problem," she said, breathless. Kale stepped forward, his expression grave. "The Empire's collapse is just the beginning. The Nexus core wasn't just a brain for the fleet, it was a lock. And now that it's gone, the key is turning." Ethan's brow furrowed. "What kind of key?" Kale hesitated, his voice trembling. "A weapon. Something ancient. something even the Zerans feared.